Shiva, according to you, what is it that truly differentiates a 99.9 plus with other cat aspirants?
From what I heard, there are like two different ways to maximize it. One is focus on the accuracy or focus on the attempts.
Hello, everybody. Today we have Shiva Shankar. Shiva Shankar is a BITS Pilani graduate gem with 3 years of experience, and his first attempt got a 99.95 in CAT. Shiva has not only converted IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta, FMS, and a lot of top B schools. He's also somebody who has steered through the last 1 year of scorching routine wherein he used to find very difficult finding time for his preparation. So we are going to understand his journey. How did he prepare? How did he crack CAT in the first attempt with a 99.95? A lot of people wonder about profiles also. Shiva has a 996 profile, and that 6 has also bothered him in the past, where he has not attempted for CAT in the past, but he did it for once and he did it absolutely amazingly. Welcome, Shiva. How are you doing today?
Good, sir. I'm pretty good.
Brilliant. So, Shiva, let's get started. I'm going to ask you a few questions in the podcast, primarily concerning the students, people who are preparing for this year. This can be a very good learning experience for them. So, let's get started. I'm not going to, ask you to put your hand on Gita and promise that you will not lie. I know that you are a very truthful person. We have had so many interactions during this entire year, and it has been absolutely amazing to be your mentor as well. So here it goes, Shiva. You were working full time as an AI engineer and you were preparing for CAT. How did you manage your preparation? A lot of working professionals would want to know. How did you manage? Was it hectic? Was it demanding? AI and tech based roles at this point in time seem to be very hectic. So, how did you manage it?
Yes, sir. So it was quite demanding because apart from being an AI engineer, I was also the team lead in my team. So I had additional responsibilities as well, like client meetings and managing the rest of the team and all these things. So it was the workday would be quite hectic, and I also used to work for a US based client. So it we used to have some meetings in the evenings as well, post work hours. So what I used to do was a double-edged sword. So I had some advantages as well, being a team lead. I could, effectively plan my day out well, and I could schedule meetings with my team when I wanted to. So what I used to do was during the classes, or if there was any workshop or something, I used to schedule like a little bit before or after, the workshops, like the meetings in the evening, and also I used to make sure that whatever time I get, I used to get around 3 to 4 hours of time every day in the evenings mostly. In the mornings it was packed, so I used to get probably 3 to 4 hours, especially because I used to study till late nights, so till around 1:30. So during that time, I tried to make the most of it and try to maximize my returns in those few hours. I did not try to be negative and think that okay, I'm missing out on all this time. I just thought, okay, this is the time I have. This is what I have to work with, so I'll make the most of it.
Got it. So if you're a team lead, you should manage the timings properly. Very, very
Yeah.
nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Shiva, you also started around June, right? You started preparing around June. So typically you had like 5 to 6 months for preparations. So how did you go about it? What did your preparation journey look like?
Um, yes, sir. So around June. So what I did initially was I thought, let me just take like a free mock or something, find out like where I am standing, right? How I'm doing in each section, just to get an understanding of my initial state. So then I realized that okay, there are certain things where I was okay at. I had some base like VARC verbal. I used to read books a lot, so that had provided me some base. And I also realized that certain sections I was like comparatively weaker. So what I decided to do was in my time, in the limited time which I had around, I thought let me maximize where I can improve, right, while focusing on my strengths as well parallelly. So that is when I was trying to find out how to prepare for DILR. I initially actually came across your live streams. So the MBA Litmus live streams where you used to solve together in the chat, right? Both QA and DLR, but especially DLR because I came across this whole concept of bucketizing and trying to like solve all the varieties and all these things. So then I thought, I actually did a few sections before even reaching out to you. I actually enjoyed your approach and the way you solve problems, and I found it quite lively as well because I am the kind of person who gets bored easily. So I need to be engaged in the session for me to gain value from it. So I found your sessions quite engaging. So then I reached out to you and we had a connect. I think probably in July, I believe. So that's when I thought, okay, let me take this course, and actually it was primarily for DLR and somewhat for quants as well. So I thought I needed some guidance for those because I was I was not doing well in DLR, like I was scoring in single digits at that point. So I thought, okay, that this would be the best opportunity to improve, some of these sections.
Got it, Shiva. Perfect. So I still remember that conversation, and how did we sort of start panning out, and slowly and steadily you've been able to build up quite nicely. I must say that. But Shiva, when you started, or even before you started, as a GEM candidate, do you feel there is an added pressure on people like us? I'm a GEM myself. You are a GEM. To all the GEM who are listening to this conversation, do you think there is an added pressure to score on the higher side? How does it impact the entire GEM community, and how did you handle it? I think that's very important because a 99.95 in CAT is not just preparation; it's also mindset.
Yes, sir, definitely. So I think initially I kind of was aware of the difficulty. Although to be quite surprising, I wasn't like what I thought was still like it was worse than what I thought, right? So I thought 99.5 plus would be enough to get some of these calls. Then I did all these predictions and all, and I saw, oh my God, 99.8 or 99.7 plus is needed, right? So that made things quite, it was quite serious because, so what I thought was um, I had to either go big or go home, right? Because 99 was not going to get me anywhere, right? So it's 99 and 97 was same for me, for my profile especially, because on top of GEM, I did not have like the 999 profile. So I had to compensate for some of the gaps in my profile. Even though I had WorkX, still it wasn't like the best profile. So I needed a 99.7 plus to target like the best B schools, which I was aiming for, right? So my CAT strategy was also based on that. So what I thought is, okay, I have certain disadvantages due to my profile being GEM, but I can make the most of it by thinking of it in such a way that since I need extreme outcomes, my strategy has to match that, right? So I had to maximize and take the riskier path, right? So I can get into that, like what my strategy was and all, but I think that's what I took out of it. Like I planned my strategy in a way that I could at least have a realistic chance of scoring that kind of a score.
Yeah. So Shiva, then my follow-up question is, what is that risky strategy that you were following?
Yes, sir. So I think one thing was especially what I heard, I think even from you as well, that to score extremely high, like in the 99.9s, we need to maximize one section a lot. Like we need to go really big in one section and make sure the rest of the two sections are at least safe or we don't damage them at the very least.
Right.
So then I had to pick which section it was, and for me I think it was very clear from the starting as well that my VARC would be the strongest, and I wanted to maximize that. So what I decided to do was I they were like so I my strategy was to focus on the attempts because I could not reach like more than 90% accuracy. So my strategy was maximize the attempts. So I used to attempt like all 24 questions most of the time as much as possible. So, and my aim was to, get like a really, really high score in VARC and make sure that I am in the good range in the other two sections.
Got it.
So that was my strategy.
And how did it finally pan out? So you had a 99.95. How did it look like, within VRC, DILR, and QA, Shiva, if you would remember roughly?
Yeah. So I think it. was kind of what I was planning for. So my VRC was around 99.91, and my DALR was 99.4, and Quants was 99.7. So overall, I did decently in all three. I mean, my DLR 99.4 was really good. I mean, I myself cannot believe it because the paper was very tough. I had slot one, so DLR was quite tough. Yeah.
Right, right. And also DILR was your nightmare. We'll come to that. Shiva, how did your weekday and weekend study routine look like? Because you were working. Was it like 5 days for you or 6 days?
5 days.
5 days. So,
5 days.
so
Yeah.
what was the weekday routine like? What was the weekend routine like? Some people who want to get a 99.95 might want to copy that. So, what was it like, Shiva?
Sure. So there was one more thing. I had a hybrid work. So I had to go 3 days to office and 2 days was from home. Although I didn't always follow that, but that option was available to me, right? So what I used to do generally, if we forget about the work from home thing, I'll come to that later. So generally, how my workday would look like is, um, office probably starts around 9:30, 10 in the morning. So in the mornings, I used to get like probably 1 hour, 1.5 hour. I just used to read some stuff and just basic reading and some VARC practice if possible. Maybe during the later half, like the last 2.5 months, I used to do like a couple VR sectionals or something in the morning, right? Because I am more of a late night person, so I don't like to put a lot of work in the mornings. So I just used to pick my best section and just do like a couple of hours or 1 hour of practice in the morning. And in the evenings, how it used to look like is most of the work would be done by around 6:37. So post that, like I said, I may have like one or two meetings here or there, like a couple 15, 20-minute meetings because of my clients' timings and all. So around that, I was mostly free. So I used to manage around 3 to 4 hours every day in the evenings. And one more thing which was very helpful for me was my location was very near the office, right? So I didn't have much of a commute time. And thankfully, I'm not staying in Bangalore as well, so I didn't lose like a lot of time in commuting. So that was good.
Okay.
And yeah, so what I used to do was so these 3 4 hours I used to get in the weekday, and in the weekends it was mostly like the full day. That was the time I had to give mocks, to prepare like any conceptual stuff or to go deep into anything because I had the whole weekends to myself. And apart from, I used to play badminton just to keep myself refreshed and all. But other than that, I was mostly free to study cat. So I used to put around um, 8 hours, I would say, 8 to 9 hours in the weekends each day.
That's great. That's great.
So yeah,
So,
there wasn't like a fixed routine in the weekends. Just 8 to 9 hours of prep across each day.
so that's like, for example, nearly 16 to 18 hours over the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, and additional 20 hours maybe across the rest of it.
So that typically makes it around 30 35 odd hours that you would have in the week. Okay, it
Yeah.
makes it's an average of 5 hours a day kind of a thing, right?
Yes.
I think people who are starting in June, I think that should be their target too. I think that's the that's the number that you're looking at if you're looking at a 99.95. Perfect, Shiva. Also, now coming to the element that we were talking about, Shiva, which is your nightmare, right? So DILR is your nightmare. So what was it like in DILR? What were the struggles? How did you overcome that? A lot of people will resonate with that.
Yeah. So actually, to be honest, okay. So when I started my CAT prep, right, I was quite surprised, to be honest, because I did not think DLR would be a weakness, right? Because I used to solve Sudoku and I thought I was pretty good at like logical problem solving. But then I realized for some reason, it was not clicking like the other sections in the initial time, right? Probably because I was way out of touch, right? I'd been working for around 2 years, more than 2 years at that point. So probably I had to get back into the rhythm, one of the things. And the other thing was it was uh, probably, like there was some challenge initially. So, and the other thing I used to do was I had no strategy. I just used to go like all guns blazing, whatever set I found, I tried to solve it, right? And I also had some ego in the sense that I was just trying to solve the set. I didn't go through all the sets and try to, smartly find, do set selection. These kind of things, which I learned later on, are like very important, right? Initially, I just used to find whatever set, and I'm like, "ये मेरे से क्यों नहीं हो रहा? I need to solve it," right? So I just tried to solve these things. So that was, I think, one was a lack of strategy. The other was probably an inherent, like slight weakness. So that was my initial struggles. And then what I did was, one was, like whatever you suggested, like the bucketizing, practicing across all the different types of problems. So I implemented all these things. And I used to actually, around 50 to 60% of my focus, like my time spent, was on DILR, because I knew that this was my most weakest, and I had to put a lot of effort into this. So I went through all the litmus material. I even got like some free previous year mocks and all, and I tried from those as well. So just try to practice as many different problems as possible. And that's what I did. And the other thing was set selection, which was like very, very important, as I realized it. So once I got a better understanding of how to do set selection, and to be able to at least decently pick one or two sets, I think that's when it became a little bit easier, I think.
Got it. Shiva, what was your motivation? Because when you're doing something and you're trying to put in like 3 hours, 4 hours after work, work itself sometimes is very tiring, right, Shiva? You need to have a great level of self motivation, a great level of inherent drive, which kicks you out of the bed every morning. Every time you come from office, you have to have that drive that you are going to get it. What is the drive that you had? What is it that truly motivated you to do this?
I think one is, I always wanted to go into one of the old IIMs, right? There was this thing in the back of my head, that I had a inclination towards, a business degree, and, trying getting into the kind of roles, like consulting and product and all, which would give you a lot of insight and ownership, and probably even help you, in entrepreneurship if you try in the future, right? So I had a career goal which was very compelling to me at that point. And the other thing was I used to do visualization, right? Like for example, I used to just imagine, okay, like just imagine 1 year down the line, you're in one of this ABC or something, and just how different life would be, and that would kind of motivate me a lot, right? So that was one of the things, and so I think those were a couple of the things which kept me going. And I also, tried to not think like negative things. Like one more thing was, this was like I had almost, so now I have like 3 years of experience. So at that time I had 2.5 years. So I felt that, if not this thing that, okay, it has to happen this year, right? Like, kuch bhi hoke, like it has to happen this year. So that was an additional factor in my preparation, I would say.
Got it. You would also agree with me, Shiva, that mocks are a very important part of CAT preparation. What was your, approach? What was your schedule? How did you go about mocks? How did you analyze the mocks?
Yeah.
What do you think worked out for you? You've been getting a lot of amazing scores, and we have been, discussing that also. You've had many scores in 100 plus, and therefore we were also expecting that you're going to rock it this year. So what was your plan about mocks? How did you go about it?
Yeah. So here I don't know, I may have like a slightly different opinion, because I actually love to give mocks, right? Because I don't know, I felt I like to practice while giving mocks rather than just do practice as it is. It just felt like more like a game, more challenging, right? So the problem was analyzing them, right? Before I used to just give mocks. I was not analyzing them. Then I used to reach a plateau, or like the scores used to decrease. So what I realized was, it's not just about giving mocks. We have to analyze them as well, like very well. So I think that's where, when I spoke to you, and I think during our sessions as well, we used to have those analysis sessions in the mocks, right? So I tried to do the analysis the same way, like how we did in the sections. And I think that taught me a lot of things. Especially, when I think about, like, let's say a section goes badly, then my initial instinct would be to, right away next day give another mock and try to, forget this mock, right? Something like that. But then I realized, okay, that's a good thing. Like, if something goes wrong, it's a good thing. You can maybe learn something out of it, or there is something which you did wrong which you can actually realize during that mock. So that's what I learned, and I gave a lot of mocks, and I would recommend everyone to give a lot of mocks, because I think mocks are the best way to learn. Apart from, once your concepts are clear, mocks are the best way to improve, especially if you analyze them very well, I would.
Absolutely, absolutely, Shiva. Would you want to talk about any specific turning points that you would remember in your journey? Some realization that changed it all, that really helped change your perspective towards preparation, that changed the game for you.
I think one thing was that the belief that I could get 99.8 plus, right? Because I that was one of the biggest things, because initially I used to think in my head कि 99 तो possible है, लेकिन 99.7 plus होगा या नहीं. That was like always in my head, that like, will I you know uh, just about like pass the, like, reach the finish line, or like ऐसा हो गया कि I did well but I am not getting my top calls. So that was like always a fear in the back of my head. And I think we had one conversation as well. You said कि you believe that I can for sure get like 99.7 or
Absolutely.
99.8, right?
Yes,
So I think that was probably like a really probably a changing point, I would say. And I think another thing was just the strategy, I would say, right? Initially I used to just since I was like somewhat strong in a few areas, I could get like some decent score even without applying any strategy, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
then I realized how important strategy is in that. Like for each section, going about it strategically and sticking to the strategy, right? Sometimes I used to have a strategy, but in the exam I used to like just forget about it and just do my own thing again, right? And that instinct would kick in. So I had to make sure that I had a proper strategy and I stick to it. So I think that was one of the realization when I started applying it. I saw the progress, and that also made me more confident and more realistic about my chances.
definitely, Shiva. I remember the conversation, where we had and we discussed that you can definitely do it. I still believe that you will do very well from here on as well. Let's get McKinsey next. Okay. Now, I,
Sure, sure.
I think one other important element, Shiva, which a lot of working professionals share with me, is the problem that they face with respect to consistency and burnout, right? Either they are not able to do it, or if they are able to do it consistently, then there is a burnout, right? Did you face that? Did you have that realization? How did you cope up with that?
Yeah. So I I mean, I would say slightly. I would not say I faced a lot of burnout, because one is that I prepped for like 6 months, right? 6 months solid. So probably if I had done for even longer, maybe it would have been more of a problem. But whenever I faced that little bit of burnout or certain tiredness and stuff, one is actually I used to give myself like a one day gap or something in between. Sometimes whenever I just used to chill out and not do much, because whenever I wanted to put effort, I wanted to put 100%. I didn't want to feel like I'm dragging it or doing things half-heartedly. So I believe if you feel something like that, you can take 1 or 2 days off. It's fine. I think after that you can again like get into it like with 100% effort. And the other thing is obviously just, if you just look at the goals and, if you really want them, I think all these are like problems I think you can overcome very easily, I would say. And as long as you see the progress, right? I think the other thing I feel a lot of people, they either plateau out or they're not seeing that improvement. That's probably one of the reasons why they feel burned out, or, they feel that lack of motivation. So as long as you see, progress, right? In your preparation, in your strategy, in your mock scores, maybe, then I think you would, definitely feel motivated.
Got it, Prince. I'm only asking your perspective. You can, I'm sure you will feel very amazing about it. I am feeling so amazing about it. We have been together around a year now, and you've been part of Litmus. You've been part of our lives, and it gives us so much happiness. I'm sure the kind of happiness that it gives you and your family is insurmountable. So, Shiva, tell me what, according to you, differentiates a 99.9 plus with somebody who is a serious cat aspirant.
Yes. So, I mean, first of all, I think God's grace is important. Otherwise, whatever we do, it's like very difficult.
Very
But
humble.
yeah, but apart from that, I think, like I said before, strategy I would say is very important. So everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. So you have to capitalize on it a lot because I think I gave JEE as well. So that is a very different exam from JEE, NEET, all these things. So it is a very strategy based exam. And the other thing is how you handle pressure, right? Because there is like the DLR section is completely variable, right? No matter how good you are, on that day, any question can happen, any kind of set can come. Like, for example, this year's DLR was very new, like the varieties of problems were quite different. So, you know, how to handle pressure is also very important. So, and if you, let's say, you are certain like somewhat behind or something in some part of your section to make sure that you don't lose confidence and you still go through, like for example in my cat exam for the first 15 minutes I did not solve a single problem in DLR, right? Like I was just like roaming through the sets. I was not able to solve anything in the first 15 minutes. Then, I recovered and I solved like two sets fully, which I got all of them correct. So that was good. But, just I'm saying that if I had panicked at that point and not handled pressure well, I would have messed up the whole DLR section. And there are a lot of people who have done that in my slot. Like there are people who have 99.8 plus with a DLR single digit score, right? Which has effectively ruined their cat. So I believe, handling the pressure, handling the unpredictability, right? The cat is also somewhat unpredictable. So you sometimes don't know what pattern you may get. Like certain questions may be there, certain may not be there. The paper may be lengthy, the paper may be tricky. Like so, all the variations will be there. So I think handling those is very important. Now I think my mocks, the amount of mocks and the variability of mocks I took, right? I think litmus mocks themselves are quite variable. I would say, right? There are like very tough mocks, very easy mocks. So I think that helped a lot, I would say. So yeah, one is strategy, handling pressure, and consistency and hard work, obviously. But I believe that every serious cat aspirant would put. So I'm not considering that as a differentiator, but I would say these things I feel would definitely, make you stand out.
Most definitely, most definitely. Shiva, coming to the last question that I have in mind, and if in case then you have something you can also add to that. How did Litmus help you during your CAT journey? What impact do you think mentorship and guidance has on the outcomes of aspirants and people who are preparing for CAT?
So when I was looking around the internet for some sort of help, right? Probably in DLR, but in general, what I was looking for is not exactly like a full-fledged course, like something like that. What I was looking for was one, like personal guidance according to my profile and my background and my strengths and weaknesses. And the other thing was, like having sessions which would be engaging so that, I would be able to, gain most out of it and not lose my concentration and stuff. So I think Litmus helped me, it worked out for me in both areas. And I think especially the workshops, right? I think I haven't mentioned that, but the workshops I have attended, I probably have attended almost all of the workshops, especially the quants and DLR ones. I've attended all of them. So I think those have been very useful. So I think every Saturday, Sunday, or alternative Saturday, we used to have workshops, 6 hours, 7 hours workshops. So I think those were very useful for me in Litmus. And also, I think personally talking to you and getting your advice on a few things, like I mentioned before. So all those things were useful. I think that's why I joined Litmus as well. I thought, okay, I can connect with you regularly. I asked you as well when we first spoke, right?
Yes,
Can we talk during the this thing?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think brilliant, Shiva. I have, just one bonus question which I'd want to ask you. If you could talk a little bit about the interview round also. I know for a lot of aspirants who started their preparation right now, the interview may not be very important or not. I wouldn't say very important, but not very urgent. But since you are here, if you want to talk a little bit about how's the interview journey like, how did you start with your interview preparation? What is it that you have to do? And maybe some of your interview experiences.
Yes, sir. So, I think clearing cat is just one step, and after the cat, it's funny, everyone starts telling you, okay, now you're back to square one. All whatever you have done doesn't matter. So you have to, make sure that interviews are also done effectively. And for me, actually, interviews was even more confusing because for cat, it's like hard facts, like these are the problems, you have to solve them. It's like very black and white. For interviews, initially, one confusing thing was, I wasn't sure, like, what is good, what is bad. I used to read like all this mixed reviews online and all, that uh, you need to have this, you need to have that. They may reject you for this and that. So I think getting a clarity on what exactly they're looking for in interviews is very important. So I think in some of our sessions as well, you were telling that so these things like why you want to do an MBA, like clarity around that and clarity around your profile and your future goals. These things become extremely important in interviews. So that was one of the learnings for me. And coming to my interview experiences, they were like very varied. So I had all kinds of interviews. I had stress interviews. I had 5 minutes interviews. So should I talk about a few of them? You're on mute. Sorry, you're on mute.
You are going to Bangalore. I am Bangalore, Shiva. So we want to talk about how the I am Bangalore interview was for you.
Sure, sir. Actually, I was very happy with my IIM Bangalore interview. Even when I gave the interview, I think I told you as well. So I think even from the start, the way we started the interview, so it was mostly around my work experience and AI, which was two of my strongest things. So I was very happy that it was around that. And so they mostly asked, what I did around my SOP. So I actually put a lot of effort into my SOP and made sure that I covered all the intricate details of my work and what I did and how much I saved for my company, all these things in the in my SOP. So I think they got clarity about my work in that as well. So they just asked a few clarifying questions on those. And post that, they went into like the AI part. So they were actually trying to figure out why I wanted to do an MBA, leave AI and do an MBA. That was like for 5 10 minutes of my interview, right? So I had to convince them that okay, this is a good idea. And they were also quite skeptical in the sense that they were asking me like, do you really think AI, that all the hype is worth it, and these kind of questions. So I had to give my understanding and opinions on those. And so it was mostly around my work experience and AI. And there was, I think, one probability question thrown in between, which I wasn't sure. They asked to prove some theorem or something. I didn't even know like what that was. So that was for, I think, the BA, business analyst. We had a BA call as well, right, from IIM Bangalore.
Right.
So for that, they asked a statistics question. So that was there. But other than that, the interview, I think, went very well. And it was very conversational, which was good. And it was around AI and my work ex. And I think I'm like very passionate about AI. So I keep reading and I follow a lot on AI as well, in addition to my work. So I think that helped me very well, in my interview.
Okay.
So I actually think it was one of my better interviews. So I was, hoping that push to hoga isme. So
Definitely, Shiva. Amazing season, amazing score, amazing convert. Going to have Bangalore. Very, very happy. So, Shiva, many congratulations again. I'm wishing you a great, great time in the future. We'll obviously be in touch with, for example, be a part of your journey going forward also. And, keep doing well. And for everybody who's watching this, I'm sure that if you're able to draw inspiration, if you're able to understand this conversation. If you have any questions, you can put in the comments. We'll ask Shiva directly and share the answers for all of you. And thank you, Shiva. God bless. Take care. And for everybody who's watching this, we'll keep coming with such amazing sessions with the toppers. Do subscribe to the channel and share it across with everybody who's planning to get a 99.95 this year. Thank you, Shiva, for joining in. God bless you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.